Hello everyone, my name is Drago Petrovic. I'm a principal system engineer and cloud solution architect from Switzerland. And today in my session, I'm gonna tell you about phishing prevention in Exchange Online with Microsoft ATP. First of all, mark in your calendar the Microsoft 365 Collaboration Conference, which is going to be based in March 23rd till 25th in Las Vegas. Mark it in your note and hope to see you there. Thank you also to all our generous sponsors for being a part of this event to make this event possible. That's really great. And let me introduce myself just a second. Maybe something about myself. My name is Drago Petrovic. I'm based in Switzerland, in Zurich. I'm 39 years old. I'm working as a principal system engineer and cloud solution architect. I'm awarded as a Microsoft MVP in Office apps and services. And my main topics are Microsoft Exchange, especially about message encryption and security. Today we're going to have a look about the security part by the phishing attack prevention. The languages I'm speaking are natively German and Serbian, and my second language or my third language is English, which I'm going to make my presentation today about it. I hold several awards from Microsoft. These are my current, the last ones I made are the Microsoft Teams Associate and Messaging Administrator Associate. And as already mentioned, I'm a Microsoft MVP for Office apps and services. Are you ready for raffle? The event owners are giving away 3 of the Oculus Quest all-in-ones. So hit the link, visit us, and be a part of it, and maybe you're going to be one of the winners. So then thank you also for joining us again, and to our awesome partners in this event, which gonna 10% of the sponsorings goes to support the community relief and fighting against Corona and other disease. Let's start with the session itself. So if we talk about phishing, there are different things or several things we have to think about. One of them is, of course, that we have to figure out how this could look like. And if you take an email, we can have a look on it. And maybe we got something like this. Let's say a message which means don't believe everything you read on the internet about COVID-19. If you look more careful, this sentence looks good because we shouldn't believe everything about this disease that we hear. But on the other hand, we also have to look closer on it because here we see one spelling mistake. It's not COVID, it's COVID. So already here we can think maybe this something is not right on this point. Just 1 second, I have to take back my chat. So, sorry for this. And if you look about back, Bob Dylan said that. I guess every one of you knows Bob Dylan, and I'm quite sure he never made an official statement about that. So we have already 2 suspicious things. If we combine them, they could look like that something is weird. Let's go ahead. Bob Dylan is not the drummer of Metallica. So we already have like 3 points. We have a message which is wrong spelled. We have a person who didn't set that, and we have a short biography of this person, which is wrong. Everything for itself, it's right. There is a person, his name is Bob Dylan. There is a band which is called Metallica, and they have a drummer, but the drummer of Metallica is not Bob Dylan. And the last point, to make everything clear that something is not right with this message, is this is how Bob Dylan looks like. Not. So if we count all together, we see that there are several mistakes which are simply not right. And that's why, or this kind of shows us this analogy to phishing emails. In the next step, I would need you to interact with me in this session. And to do that, I please ask you, could you please grab your phone, go to the domain menti.com, enter the code 3108 and 2. I'm gonna wait a moment for that, and then I'm gonna ask you some questions. Take your time. I would really appreciate if you would be a part of it. Take your phone, go to menti.com, enter the code 31082, and we're gonna make some interactive things together. Great. As we see, we have the first question. Did you ever get a phishing email? As you also see on the result, the answers are totally anonymous. I don't know who is answering me, so don't worry about anything personal information. I'm not collecting nothing. Okay, as we see already, the most of you already got some phishing emails. We're gonna hold this for a few more seconds before I continue to the next question. Okay, great. Thank you for that. Next question is, when did you realize it was a phishing mail? Okay, great. I just remind you, there are no information saved. Okay. Mostly the people get that they got a phishing mail after they open the email. But you guys are amazing, so you got it straight away that something is wrong. Fantastic. Let me get to the third question. Has your company been a victim of a phishing attack? As we already see with the first answers of you, thank you again for that. It is a real danger today in today's world. So almost 90% of the participants' companies got already attacked or phished or tried to phish, let's say like this. Great. And I have one more question for you. It will be the last one. What are the current, or what are your current prevention strategies against phishing attacks? Education, spam filter, exactly. DKIM, yes. SPF, yeah, great. ATP, that's good to hear. Fantastic. Nothing to do, okay, good. User awareness, exactly. About this user awareness, this is also kind of a part of this session, which how we can get that. And as well, the phishing alert training. Okay, great. So I guess you guys are in the right session. Maybe the next steps I'm gonna show you, you know already. If not, you're very welcome to learn something new. If yes, you can improve yourself. I really hope you're gonna enjoy the rest of the session. And now I would like to continue with my presentation before we come to a demo. Thank you for participating to my questions. So how can we identify a phishing email? There are many ways, but I'm gonna show you now the 5 main ways. The first of it is a message is sent from a public email domain. What that means? That means companies, especially good companies, that will never send you from a public domain email. Let me be more precise. For me, a public domain is, for example, Hotmail. So you will never ever receive an official Microsoft email from a hotmail.com address. If you're gonna have any emails from Microsoft, you should receive them. There will be always an @microsoft.com domain. To show as an example, it's not about Microsoft, it's now about PayPal. This is also how a particular phishing mail can look like. As you see, the mail is from PayPal with the email address PayPal @ and then some random domain. So this is the very first thing which shows us that this is not a real email. This is something which is somehow suspicious. The second point is if the domain name is misspelled. What that means? That's another clue which hackers or attackers try to do, especially when I have, for example, to make phishing simulations to companies, to my customers. We try always to use a domain to send email, which sounds quite similar to the original company, but it's not. To show you an example, instead of Microsoft, this is maybe Microsoft, because here we changed the O and A if the domain is still free. Or instead of Google with 2 O and 1 G, we can use Google with 1 O and 2 G. Of course, I guess these domains are already taken, but if you have a company, let's say Contoso, you can send an email as a Contazo, and people are not looking quite well about that. One of the most known ways how to identify an email is if the email is written poorly. And here the attackers try even not all of them, of course, some simply didn't know it better or have a bad translation, but some of them are really using this point in purpose because, believe me or not, there are too many people which are answering to their emails. So especially by spam emails. So that's why they make even a first sort by people which are not taking even care about that. And here as well, if we have a look on the example, if the email is written poorly or it has grammatical mistakes, also something could be suspicious. Remember in the beginning, it was written COVID instead of COVID. The fourth point is if there are suspicious attachments or links. And this point, we're gonna have a closer look later in our demo. phishing emails come many in forms, or they're sending some attachments which we have to download. It could be like shown in this example, that we have an invoice attached. Most of all, these spams are written with DHL or other delivery companies, which we received an invoice for some packages or which we never ordered, or maybe we did, and this is just like in Clue. The fifth point are suspicious links. So if we get an email which we have to do something, which we have to click on a link in the mail, which gonna provide us to a suspicious website, which gonna actually phish our credentials out, we always have to be careful. Here you see also an example from a Netflix failed validation. We have to click on continue, and if we just go with the mouse over the icon, we're gonna see that there is some suspicious link behind. It can be a link to a malicious software, or it can be also a link to a phishing page. I'm going to show you another example. It's not the main topic now here in this presentation, but I still think it's important to know. There are also attacks which are really personalized. I say if that's a company or an office which are doing random things, they are not so in the focus. But if there is a pharma company, a bank, or insurance or health insurance companies, they can be attacked directly. The same can happen to a football club. In this scenario, it's not about phishing, but it's about scam. Lazio Rome has sold a player to Feyenoord Rotterdam, and his name was Stefan de Vir. And this was published in an Italian newspaper, and a few days later, the office of Lazio Rome received an email that they have to pay a fee for the transfer from 2 million euros. And because this transfer really happened, this person who was responsible for that simply transferred 2 million to a random account. The money was gone. As far as I know, I don't know how it happened in the end, but as you see in this example, Feyenoord never received the cash, and yeah, the money was gone. That's just a side that you see that as well, that really is nowadays danger. So how can I prevent phishing attacks? There are also a lot of things. You already wrote me in my questions some points what you are doing against. Great for that. So I see you are really working about this topic. You really have to carry about that, and I like that you are doing that. One of the most easiest things to implement is using multi-factor authentication. So if we have a second authenticator, even if we got phished by the credentials, we don't have gave away our second factor. And if there is something going wrong, then we have to train our users and test our users how we can prevent that this happens, that we still have safe our data and our companies. The most of all, people don't even maybe want to try straight away to do some danger. Maybe they just try to get some credentials to be able to log in to some webmail, because most of us are using Office 365 products like Exchange Online, Teams, and other points. And they want to try just to get access to the company, and then they can send internal emails to people. They can access documents to people. And if we protect ourselves with a multi-factor, we are always safe. There will be for sure maybe some other session about multi-factor authentication. I don't want to go too deep in that because this would be filling at least 2 more sessions today. We're going to continue with our phishing attack. So how we can do that? Let's make a short demo. I'm going to show you some things. Maybe some of them you know already. If not, have a look about it. I hope it's going to be the thing you need. If we have Office 365 E5 plan, we get Microsoft ATP also licensed. That we can start a phishing attack, we need to go to Threat Management and then Attack Simulator. If we do that, it shows us that we have different attacks we can simulate. Don't worry about that. I had last week another session which I was using this tenant, so that's why here is something written. There are like harvest credential phishing, there are attachment phishings, there are brute force attacks to check if the passwords are still okay, if the passwords are somewhere already out, if you're not sure if you got phished, so you can use passwords, the most common in the world, to check, or you can take some particular passwords and check about that. Because of the time, we're gonna make 2 attacks in one. So we're gonna prepare now a simulation where we can get on one hand the credentials, and on the other hand, we're gonna talk about attachments. To do that, we go here and launch an attack. To do that, we need to enter a title for the attack. This is for us as an administrator important. So let's call it Microsoft Virtual Marathon. Then the next point, we can use templates. So if we click here, we can choose template like prize giveaway or payroll update. We're not going to use that in our simulation. We're going to just take it in blank. So next that we go, we have to get which user we want to test. So we can import it as a CSV file, or we can simply browse our address book. And I'm going to take, just in our example, some special co-workers of this fictive company. One of it will be Desmond Miles. Another one will be Natasha Romanoff. The third one gonna be Virginia Potts. So you see, my company is quite sure the whole Avengers are working in my company. So I'm from this point cool. If we have chosen our victims, let's call them like this, we continue to next. And now we have to provide some details. First of all, from whom we're gonna send this. And here we need to have a strategy, how our simulation should be titled. What's the concept of it? We're gonna do the classic. We take a payroll. So I cannot talk and write, sorry for that. Financial, email from finance at MSP365 minus dim. Demo.com. Now we can choose a phishing URL, which we're gonna need. And as we decided we're gonna do something about financial and payroll, we're gonna try to get payroll tooling. So we take the web domain portal.payroll.tooling. So the next point, we choose the type of an attachment. In our case, let's take PDF. We're gonna call this PDF payroll May. And now we can choose, if the user clicks on the link, which we're gonna generate later, we can choose a custom landing page. If we don't choose nothing, there will be one from Microsoft, which is gonna look much like the icon we see here on the left. I hope you see my mouse. But in our case, I prepared one, which I simply gonna hit here. And the subject of the email gonna be as well very dynamic, May 2020 payroll. Okay. Then we click next. And here now we have the opportunity to, if we didn't choose a template, to create a message. Why I choose this? Why I didn't choose the template? Because we have also the opportunity to go here to source, and we can create this phishing mail as an HTML file. I have already done that, so I'm gonna just copy and paste here my source. And if I go back, you see how my email gonna look like. There are two important things. One of it is the variable here with the username, because this is going to be sent to the personal user, like in a personal attachment, in a personal way. And the second of all will be behind the logon, will be also on a link which going to go to this portal we choose before. So now hit next, finish, and the attack is now ongoing. If we go now first to the website, to the email from Natasha Romanov, we see already that she has received an email from Financial with the title May 2020 payroll. So let's open this email. And here we see on the left, we see the PDF. We come later to that, but let's go now to the email itself. So what says us this email? First of all, we have a new payroll 2020. We have to control our details. We have written the name and then an explanation. So the change of our new payroll software from SAP system was asked our employers to briefly check their payroll in the attached PDF document, which we see here. And now we come till now, everything looks okay. Let's say like this. The second point is do it now. We ask you to check your payroll by May 31st. After this date, we cannot make any correction on your account anymore. So now we are making pressure. I, as an attacker, are making pressure to the recipient, to the victim. So I force him to do that straight away. Otherwise, maybe if something is wrong, we cannot change it anymore. So I'm really, as a victim, think, okay, today is the 28th of May. So I have only 3 days left to do that. So let's do that straight away now, and even don't continue much reading. That's kind of a pressure we are taking. Let's go further. Portal login. In addition to the payroll accounting, virtual personal information can be cleaned up in the new SAP portal. To make it easier, you can connect directly to it using the link button below. So how we get in a payroll email as well, like some order to do something with our account. It can be, but it's simply not usual, let's say like this. The last point is, or the pre-last point is, your opinion is important to us. After successful login to the new SAP portal, you can rate the new portal. The first 20 ratings will be credited by a $200 thank you for the next payout. This is actually the same like this, just in a more easier way, more friendly way. So if I'm under the first 20 who's gonna do that, I'm gonna get a plus payment from $200 next time. So I do it now. So everything I wanted to do, the call I had to do, or the next email which is waiting for us, I'm gonna do it later because I wanna grab this $200. The next point is, what is SAP? So why should we actually get this information in a payroll email? This sentence is right. SAP stands for this. It's a German company which was founded in 1972. This is all right. All this is good, but still, it has nothing to do in a payroll. And the last is like that we don't reply to this email because, of course, if you reply to an email to an address which doesn't exist, latest then we know that something is wrong. Okay, let's click on the login button. So we're going to provide it to a new page, which looks very like Windows Office 365, sorry, a Microsoft 365 login page. Here we can enter some email address. It doesn't matter what. Let's call it just test. Pardon. At test.com. Go next. Now we enter the password. And if we now click on sign in, no, we don't want to save this password. we got forwarded to my custom landing page, which we have defined earlier. So as you see, I have created this page, like unfortunately you got hacked. In this case, however, you don't have to worry. And here you can also create, I really advise you to create a company customized site where you can share the first information, maybe even the first learnings already that your customer already knows. Okay, something happened, maybe I have to do now something. Whatever you want to do that, you're absolutely free. It's simply a link to a public website. Okay, so we catch Natasha. If we go to Virginia, she got the same email. And by her, we don't have to play all about this anymore. But what we can do by her, we go now to payroll. We click on the PDF. And as soon as we click on it, we open it and we get the default notification that Virginia Potts, which got named straight away in the PDF, got hacked. And here, this email, this entry from this PDF is the original text from Microsoft itself. So we already have the first informations about that. And trust me, every normal employer gonna open the window after because it gets warm. And I think that's the best way how we can train our employees. My personal advice in general is, if you make this attacks to your company, to your employees, learn and teach them. Don't make any sanctions about them if they make a mistake. They need to learn that. Okay, if you make the 4th test in a year and they are running into it, then you can do, of course, some sanctions as well. But in the beginning, I promise you, this is a huge learning these people have. So these people are gonna make a learning just by using this test. Okay, let's go back to our attack simulator. I hit refresh on this. And as we see, our attack is completed. We can have a look here on attack details. Go over there. And as you see, okay, this report always takes a moment till it shows the result. But we see here what it's gonna be if it happens, which users are gonna be affected, which users opened the email, which users did what, and then we can make the, help me to say, the audit about it. Okay, the second thing I would like to show you in this demo is about attacking or a directory attack for, or brute force attack, sorry for that, for passwords. For that, we're gonna go here, launch an attack. We take here also display name. Go next as well. We choose some users to make it short. We go again to Mrs. Potts. I know Tony Stark will not be happy, but this is how it is. Click next. And now we can enter a password. But this is, let's say, not the thing we are looking for. What we would like to look for is that we can maybe add some the main known passwords for the attack. So we go here for upload, and I have here a file which calls 10,000 most known passwords. Take this, go next, finish, and now this attack is running. Okay, in this case, it's already completed. We can go to attack details. We go here, and as we see, there are no passwords which are common in the internet are known or are used for our Miss Potts. To make more clear, I shorted this list. I had just, let's say, 5 or 6 passwords in this list, but I prepared a list for you with the 10,000 most common passwords. I'm gonna provide you the link just right now after this. We go back. By following this QR code, you can download for free the 2 zip files. In one zip file, you're going to get email HTML template for creating phishing attacks with Microsoft ATP. And in the second zip file, you're going to get a TXT file with the 10,000 most common passwords in the world, which you can hit for this simulation I just showed. Please note, for this attack or for this simulation about the passwords, it's gonna take some time. It can take up to 48 hours till everything is finished. So be patient about that, and then you're gonna get your result. So give me a second. Okay, let's go back to our questions. Now it's my turn again to ask you something. Do you have any questions to me about this session? Use again your phone, go to menti.com, hit the code 31082, and then ask me the questions if you have something to ask. We're gonna keep this open for a minute. Okay, it looks like there are no questions as far as I know, or maybe they are. Permissions required for the simulations. You have to be an administrator on the tenant, and you have to be enabled by multi-factor itself if you want to run this this simulation attacks. Is that okay? I guess yes. Let's go to the next one. Yes, I have this file with the passwords. I'm gonna show you the QR code again. You can download this file for free. After the behind the QR code, there will be a link, and there will be the 10,000 most common passwords from the internet, which you can simply use. You can just use this TXT file. That's actually a good question. I'm using currently Office 365 E5 plan. I cannot answer you this question by heart. You can contact me if you want and ask me this question later again, and I'm gonna answer you by email if that's fine for you. No. Will the brute force password attack result in account lockouts? If I understand you right, you mean if there are too many tries that the account will be locked? No, it will not, because that's a Microsoft engine and they just test the account. So no password test will lock any accounts during the test because we're using onboard tools. Because we're using onboard tools, these emails which we are creating, they will never be flagged as a spam. Sorry for that. We should actually. I just saw it too late. My bad. Sorry for that. That's disappointing. I'm not working by Microsoft, so I can't give you here a final answer. But yes, I still hope it's going to be that. We are talking to the product teams from the MVP community and the Microsoft product teams about that, and I really hope they're going to provide us soon more options about that. And trust me, I'm personally interested in that as well. So I really hope that it's going to be soon as possible. I actually don't know any limits, I guess, but if you use the 10,000 password string, then or the password list, there should be a lot of it. I think I can't answer you. I have not read any TechNet article about that, so I simply cannot tell you an answer about that. Which least privileged account we have to run the simulations. Okay, that's now questions I don't understand actually what you exactly mean with that. Can you maybe ask a bit differently? Yes, the URL I entered. I mean, like I said, you don't have to do that. You can use if you don't enter any URL there, you're gonna just be provided to the from Microsoft created page. The URL I provided for, I guess you mean the landing page. I hope at least you mean that. This is up to you what you're gonna do that. By creating in general, let's say the HTML file, I just say it depends what you want to simulate, you know, how hard the simulation should be, how hard the mail should be to identify as a phishing mail. My advice, for example, is always that if you make the first attack, that you really give the people a chance that they really can notice that it is a phishing attack. I guess the email I just used now for this simulation should be maybe the second or third attack. Second is okay as a second attack. Okay. I guess that's it for the moment. Thank you. So here again, the QR code to the sources. Currently, I have two zip files there. One is with the HTML file, with the one HTML file, which you can use for a phishing attack. The second one is the passwords TXT file. Have a look time by time there. Again, I think in the end of June, I'm gonna update some more HTML templates that you can use for yourself, that you can edit, and I hope there's gonna be something for you. Then that's the end of my session actually. What I would like you also, if you have still time, to give some feedback. The most important feedback is the event feedback. I hope you liked the event so far, and I hope you're going to join some other sessions because there's still some great speakers around. And for me personally, it would be great if you can also give a feedback about my session, because my goal is to get better and better, to make better sessions for you people. And we learn from each other, and all what's constructive is going to helping me also to make the next time a better presentation for you. On this point, thanks a lot for being a part of my session. I wish you a great rest of the day, and I hope we're gonna see us another time in another session, another presentation. Bye, people.